Hey guys, what is up? My name is Taylor, and today we are going to learn the entire fretboard, all the notes across every string all the way through the guitar in 5 minutes or less. So I know that this is something that a lot of people maybe struggle with or have questions on, and it's actually really simple. You basically just need to know two things. You need to know how the guitar is tuned, which I'm sure a lot of you already know, E, A, D, G, B, E. And then you also need to know the musical alphabet, which I'm going to explain a little more in just a second. So when you know those two things, you can count through the notes on your fretboard, and you can count through each string, and you can figure out any note anywhere on the guitar. So it's a really powerful trick, a really powerful tool to kind of have at your disposal, and it's useful for a lot of different things. So let's talk about the tuning of the guitar and the musical alphabet, and then we're going to start learning all the notes of the fretboard, and we're going to do it in less than 5 minutes. Let's jump in.
Okay, so let's look at the basic information that we need to understand how to learn the notes on the fretboard. So the first thing we need to know is what notes we tune the strings to. So this is just called standard tuning, and most of you probably already know this. So we tune the strings to E, A, D, G, B, E, starting with your low string up to the high sounding string. So that's important when we're counting through the strings. We have to know what note to start on, so we have to know what note we tuned the string to. This is the most important part. We need to understand the musical alphabet if we want to understand how to count the notes out on the fretboard. So the musical alphabet's actually really simple. It is just the letters A through G. So we all know our regular alphabet, except our musical alphabet is just a lot shorter. It stops at G. So if you could remember A through G, and then every note has a sharp in between it. So sharps are different notes. So for example, A sharp is a different sounding note than A. So every regular letter has a sharp in between it, except for B and except for E. So those are the little exceptions that you need to remember, and you can memorize the whole musical alphabet. So if we just go one by one, we have A sharp, B, no sharp in between B and C, so B straight to C. Then we have C sharp, D, D sharp, E, straight to F, no sharp in between there. F sharp, G, G sharp, and then it would cycle back around to A, and it's just an infinite loop, and it just keeps on looping around over and over again for as long as your fretboard will go. So all you really have to remember is the musical alphabet is A through G, and every note has a sharp except for B and except for E. A quick side note, sharps can also be referred to as flats, but we're going to refer to them as sharps for the purposes of this video to keep things simple. So just remember A through G, everything has a sharp except for B and except for E. Okay, so here's a quick diagram of the fretboard along with the musical alphabet. So let's just take a quick example, and then we're going to do a real-life example and count through all the notes. So if we look at the A string, let's take that because it's already starting in alphabetical order. So on the A string, the open note is A, right at the beginning of our musical alphabet, and then every time we move up one fret, we just move up one note in the musical alphabet. So our open string would be A. The first fret of the A string would be A sharp. The second fret would be B. The third fret would be C. The fourth fret would be C sharp. Then D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and then back to A. So we can see if we just follow the musical alphabet and start on the correct note of whatever string we're playing, we can learn all the notes of the fretboard. So let's go ahead and do a real-life example of that and actually play through all the notes.
Alright guys, let's do this. We're going to count through all the strings, all the frets, figure out all the notes right now in less than 5 minutes. Now we know the two elements we need to know. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to put the musical alphabet on the screen so you can follow along. When we play that open E string, we're starting on E on the musical alphabet because that's what note we tuned it to. Every time we move up one fret, we're just going to move up one note on the musical alphabet. So 0 is an E, first fret is F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. Now here's a real important thing. We started on E, we ended up on E on the 12th fret. That should always be the case. You start on a certain note, you should end up back on that note on the 12th fret. It's a very special fret. That's where the guitar starts over. Now you could keep counting past the 12th fret, but we're going to keep going for now because we did one full cycle, so we're going to go to the next string. Next string starts with an A because that's what we tuned it to. First fret's going to be A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. There we did it again. A string, A on the 12th fret. Next string starts on a D. We tuned it to D. That's where we're starting on our musical alphabet. Then we go one at a time. First fret is D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D string, D on the 12th fret. Next string, we started with a G because that's what we tuned it to. That's where we start on the musical alphabet. First fret is G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F sharp, G, G string, G on the 12th fret. Next string starts with a B, that's what we tuned it to. Then we go up one note at a time for every fret we go forward. C for the first fret, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, B string, B on the 12th fret. Last string, it's the same as the first one we did. Starts with an E, that's what we tuned it to. First fret F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E string, E on the 12th fret. We did it, guys. We counted through all the notes. Remember, you can go past the 12th fret, but if you just follow that process, you can learn every single note on the fretboard. Great job. All right, guys, great job. We did it. We just learned all the notes across the fretboard on every single string just by understanding two basic things: how the guitar is tuned and the order of notes based on the musical alphabet. So let me just say one quick thing. It's going to take more time and practice before you can just kind of randomly play a note and say, oh yeah, that's a D, that's a B, that's an F. So it's okay if it takes you some time to actually count through the notes and figure them out for now, and it'll take more time before you can just kind of call them out immediately like that. But the important part is that you know how to do it and you know how to figure it out. And then as you continue to think about it and count through the notes, you'll start to memorize them and it'll become totally automatic. But for now, you have the tools that you need to figure out any note on the guitar, and we did it in 5 minutes or less today. Thanks for joining me, and if you need some more help with your guitar playing, just check out the link in the description.